I've returned as promised to bring you another tale of corruption, conspiracy, and crime. This time we're talking about the food industry. If you like these stories and you want to hear more stories about new profits off of these messes, please do the things, because apparently I make the kind of content that the algorithm doesn't like to hear. The big three, our favorite people, BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, they own the majority of all major food conglomerates. They're the top shareholders in nearly every major food company. Nestle, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Tyson, General Mills, Kraft Heinz. They also own retailers like Walmart and Kroger, chemical companies like Bayer, the farmland, the logistics firms, and the real estate, the REITs that lease the land to these people, to the farmers. Who gets subsidies from the government paid for by you and me? Agriculture, you've got corn, soy, wheat, cotton. Notably missing, fruits and vegetables. Meat, cattle, pork, chicken, dairy, so much dairy, and processors. Kickbacks and tax benefits through crop insurance and trade policies. $20 to $30 billion a year in federal subsidies go to agriculture, but 80% of that goes to the top 10% of producers, not family farms, corporate farms. Crop insurance programs are run by companies like ADM and Monsanto, which are also owned by our three favorite companies. Let's talk about our politicians. Food and agriculture corporations spend over $200 million annually lobbying Congress, and that's what's on paper. That's not including individual donations. That's not including any subsidiaries, LLCs that all fund campaigns for politicians. They fund both sides. Nestle, Pepsi, Tyson, and others donate also through PACs, trade groups like the American Farm Bureau, and grocery manufacturers, and all the grocery stores. And they also have dark money nonprofits, like I said earlier. Many members of Congress own stock in these companies. Some lawmakers receive farmland subsidies personally, because why wouldn't they? The USDA and FDA officials often become food company executives or board members, sponsored speakers after they retire. Here's some companies that have funded fake science for policies. Coca-Cola and Pepsi founded fake nutrition science downplaying sugar's role in obesity. Nestle lobbies WHO and foreign governments to shape infant formula policies. Big three, top shareholders. All this research is used to influence USDA dietary guidelines and suppress independent studies that might tank the share prices. Because think of the shareholders, guys. These companies also buy out organic and niche brands so they can put their name and a bad product with a name that actually was good at one point. They own logistics and retail. So if you boycott Tyson, your grocer is leasing from a BlackRock REIT and stocking a Tyson sub-brand in one of their subsidiaries or LLCs. These vertical integrations, they control the farms, the feed, the processing, the trucking, the marketing, and the lobbying. So let's talk about Nestle, the largest food and beverage company in the world. They have 2,000 brands, more than that actually, including Poland Spring, San Pellegrino, Gerber, Kit Kat, Butterfinger, Hot Pockets, Nesquik, Boost, Garden of Life, Vital Proteins, and they're owned by BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street. Same applies to Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Unilever, Kraft Heinz, General Mills, all of them. I looked up some of the most egregious things that Nestle has done, aggressively pushing infant formula in poor countries. So they would have these people dressed as nurses go into the hospitals and tell all of the to-be mothers that baby formula was better for their babies than breast milk. And by the time these women got out of the hospital, their baby was dependent on formula. So they couldn't breastfeed anymore. So they had to buy formula. Here's the other thing. The water in a lot of these places is not clean. So when they mix the water with the formula, these babies die of malnutrition. It's just awful. The CEO, Peter Brabeck, which he walked back, he said water is not a human right. They take groundwater from municipal sources, like my city's water source, municipal water. They bottle it and they resell it. And they've done that so much in places like Flint, Michigan, and they pay $200 a year in Michigan, $200. Child slavery. Nestle was sued for profiting from forced child labor on cocoa farms in the Ivory Coast. Children were trafficked, beaten, forced to work long hours with machetes and pesticides. Nestle argued it couldn't possibly be held responsible because it didn't own the farms. even though it directly controlled the supply chain that these children were being horribly abused. In 2021, Nestle lobbied to have the case thrown out of US courts and were successful. Nestle's baby food in China was found contaminated with melamine, which is a plastic that they use to make like plastic plates, like those hard plastic plates are melamine. It led to severe kidney damage and death in infants. Melamine was added to boost protein test scores so that it looked like it was healthy, but it wasn't. Nestle downplayed their role until public pressure forced recalls. Nestle also killed dogs. Beneful dog food was linked to thousands of pet illnesses and deaths due to mold toxins and harmful chemicals. They denied wrongdoing, despite mounting evidence in lawsuits. They delayed reformulating the product for years. They used cancer patients as test subjects in Latin America. So they bought companies like Boost and were just giving it to cancer patients without having done any research on them. And they were using the cancer patients in these hospitals as the research. They're fighting GMO labeling laws. Nestle has spent millions lobbying against laws requiring food companies to label products that contain genetically modified organisms. They refuse to let consumers know what's in their food. They destroy the environment. They've devastated local ecosystems through palm oil, cocoa, and coffee production. Known links to illegal deforestation, endangered species, habitat loss, and massive carbon emissions, which apparently, as of today, is no longer a problem. They also buy a lot of healthy companies and vitamin and supplement companies. Think Boost, think like healthy granola bars, and then rebrand them and put cheaper materials in them so that they're actually bad for you. This is the worst one. They signed something called the Haskin-Engle Protocol in 2001, and they promised to end child labor in cocoa by 2005. Today, they're working on it still. Their defense in all of this is that they feed billions affordably, they fund food tech research, they offer choice. But what's actually happening is they're buying up every small company, every small farm. They're taking products that you already have a good feeling about, and they're taking out everything that was good about that and replacing it with cheap products that literally kill you. Here's some other notable horrible companies, and I can expand on them if you want me to. Just let me know which ones you want to hear about. Nestle, Cargill. Cargill's one. Tyson Foods. JBS, which is a Brazilian company, but they're the largest meat packer in the world. Pepsi and Coca-Cola. Unilever, which is also huge. Mondelez International, so they own like Oreo, Ritz, Toblerone. General Mills, Kraft Heinz. Basically, they all use monopoly tactics. They buy out the competition. They control the supply chains literally from bottom to top. And this is all funded by BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard. They own the firms. They own the production. They own the factories. They own the food companies. They own the distribution. They own the lobbies. They own the politicians that would make laws against these. They use junk food disguised as health food. They use corruption to influence politicians, obviously. They target poor communities specifically for exploitation, and they test on them and make them dependent on their product. They use weaponized marketing towards children, parents, and health. And they dodge accountability by hiding behind suppliers, LLCs, shell companies, or contracts. So anyway, that's what's in your food. We're all gonna be fine. Everything's wonderful. Yeah. It's Tuesday. If you want to hear more about these corruption tactics and scandals, please do things because, like I said before, this app and algorithm do not care for the content I put out. Have a great night. Bye.